All right, so this is going to be a commentary for Crosscode All Dungeons. So I did originally have a video for this, but since then there has been a few updates and a few new strats and stuff like that that have been new strats, new reroutes for the game. So I felt it was necessary to kind of possibly go ahead and redo a video of my PB that I did offline. This was a 207. It had a couple of deaths that were a bit awkward, that were a bit silly. That's okay. I feel like this still kind of shows kind of the game off better, and it shows off a lot of the newer strats. So I thought I'd go ahead and do that. So we're gonna go ahead and hit play. So timing here starts on new game. So you'll see in my input here that I will be mashing whenever there's a cutscene coming up. I'm going to be mashing Y or triangle, however you want to say it, whichever you're using here. So right here, there was a strat that this is something that was super recent that was found out, that if you attack the bottom, it's like about like a second slower. It's not too big of a, it's not like a huge game changer, but it does make a difference. Right there, going to the up left one is significantly faster because I believe he's just like ever so slightly closer to you, and so they will kind of clump up together on you though. So that wasn't too bad of a intro segment here. So these are just kind of tutorials, not really much to talk about here. This is a good time for just stuff like donations and stuff like that. If there is any donations at the current when this is being played. So here we're going to be doing this little jump you can do. It's a small time saver. Here we're going to just aim to get that shot, saves a little bit of movement. So here there's a save warp we can do here to save not too much time. I think it's a minuscule amount of time. So here I was going to do the rat skip, but rat skip is pretty inconsistent, so I'm probably going to be also doing this during my during my run. This is this does lose a little bit of time, but it can lose more time if you kind of get trolled by Carla during the chase sequence, which can happen if you're unlucky. So just for safety, I'm probably going to be doing this right here. This is extremely slow compared to not doing the rat skip, but it is a lot safer. So here we want to trigger that cutscene so we can get dash. We will never get dash if we skip it. So now we're going to save warp past the fight there. So here we gotta do some. Gonna fight these little like little spinning kind of like robots that they'll attack us. I myself prefer to just kind of, a minute that fight goes, immediately turn down. It doesn't really make too much a difference. You kill the enemies same way. I immediately assessed that there was like a huge group. They all grouped up together, so I kind of changed my targets and went straight for them because they don't typically They typically don't group up like that, so it's best to go for that. Well, I did. So here we're gonna. This is just more tutorial stuff. Not really much to talk about here. Again, great time for donations. But so the lore here is the fact that We're playing as Lie. She's kind of woken up from she's just like kind of randomly woken up here, and she's being taught how to play this game again, basically in the middle of a planet known as, doesn't really specify what planet we're on, but it does say that we're on a planet. I think there was like hints that it was on Mars or something. Either way, this is on a completely different planet that while people were playing with like VR and stuff like that. So that's kind of a key thing there. We want to take that whole blunt of that attack, because we won't. If we don't, then we're gonna lose a few seconds to silly things. So here, it's very key that we stop our attacks at a certain time. So here, so we're going to go behind the crab here, and this is going to kind of manipulate him to do his jump, which is his fastest animation attack. He can do bubbles. He can either do bubbles, or he can slam his claw arm onto the ground. We don't want any of those. So you can get a little more damage after he does the explosion before he kind of covers it back up, which is what we want to do. Yeah, so when he has that little delay there, that means he's about to go into his triple jump kind of attack, and then that means he'll become vulnerable again. That's what we're kind of watching out for. That's some pretty good damage there. So not too bad fight. We're gonna mash through the little level up scene there, and you'll see something more while we're doing this. I'm doing this escape scene here. We're going to be holding the B button. This will have our shield animation happen, and which will skip our which will actually skip our we'll like reset our dashes, which means we'll actually be able to dash faster. And as you can guess, dashing is the fastest type of movement, so that's what we're going to be basically doing through the whole game. So 656 is pretty good. Not terrible, but it's still pretty good. Okay, so here we are going to shoot these. There's supposed to be this huge tutorial teaching you how to, like, what those things do and stuff like that. But we don't really care about those. I've been having a little bit of trouble trying to get that correctly lined up. So more tutorial battles, and this just give us the ability to use the quick menu. We're going to get those green leaf teas. We're going to be doing the vendor glitch with it later, which we'll talk about that a little bit later. So it's kind of RNG which one attacks first. So you just kind of have to hope that the one that is going after you ends up not being the one you're attacking, or the one that's shooting is not the one that that's attacking you. So here we're just going to save warp past this. I'm too crazy. Alright, and now we are save warping past this too. And now there's a very precise shot we can make here. There it is. To skip ever having to go to the bottom side of the map. And then we're going to dash into this and then get more. And this is how we're going to be able to unlock the menu. And so now we're going to grab all these chests here. Unlock. Yep, and then do that there. Nope. That guy was giving me a little bit of trouble. So right here, something I didn't explain was dash canceling. Dash canceling is a mechanic in the game that pretty much like you can cancel. You can use a dash to cancel your attacks, just so you can immediately go straight back into attacking, and it's a very key thing in a lot of the combat. You'll be seeing me use quite a bit. So here, now we're going into the boss battle. This boss is can be a bit RNG. There's only one RNG part of the run. Oh, almost fell off there. Pretty much, that part doesn't come up until the third phase, where he can either put on his face guard. He can either put on his face guard, or he'll do the shots. Which right here, he gave me good RNG. He gave me the shots. Though he's going to, though I missed. You can hit. It's like a few frames you got to work with, but you can hit him, but like you can hit him immediately out of that face guard phase. It's really difficult, but it is possible. So here it's teaching us how to use circuits. Circuits are kind of like, if you ever seen Final Fantasy X or anything of that regard.
Thank you.
As you can see, I got gold there. If you've ever seen anything of that regard, that's basically how it works. Circuits will give us certain stat boosts, but they work via percentages though. So here we're going to be doing a save warp glitch. We're going to be using a save warp. There we go, got a second try. This is a very key save warp. For anyone that's ever played this game casually knows that this area is not available until chapter 9. So we've made a huge sequence break here. So now we're going to be doing, this is the vendor glitch I was talking about here. And so this is going to be just, we're going to be getting a lot of money. It is just the best way to put it. So if you have any time for donations, this is, you got a couple minutes here to do it. So pretty much how this works is, we have to hit literally the frame right after we hit confirm. We have to hit cancel, and so that is why it's not possible to do this except on mouse and keyboard. Which with these Switch releases coming out this year, we believe that this is not going to work on work just because of that aspect in general. So this is something else. In my previous video, we would get I think it was 1.1 mil, and now we've cut it down to about we've cut it down to 876 or 870,000, and mainly just because we've kind of realized that there's a lot of that the routing was buying a lot more than it needed, or it was getting a lot more than it needed. And we also have cut down on our durians just a little bit. So that's kind of where the routing stuff comes in. So here we're going to do another save warp. So this is going to skip doing the whole leaf shade, and because that we skipped the whole leaf shade, this now skips over about like 5 or 6 different cutscenes. Right there, as you can see, there's Apollo right there. He's just kind of chilling there. There is an incentive for fighting Apollo, so there's that. Also, we are fighting the dark bovines here. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough to do what I did with the other one, so I'm going to go ahead and kill this guy, and then I'm gonna kind of hop. That's another jump, another trick I didn't talk about that we've already used. That is known as long jumping. Long jumping is also there's another cutscene here that we completely ignored because we don't have Emily. But long jumping is kind of like if you ever seen in Majora's Mask gainers. They work in the similar aspect that they use 2 mechanics and to do something. They do use 2 intended mechanics to do something unintended. So what 2 intended mechanics are is that slashing in the air, along with using dash canceling, and pretty much we're doing that to basically be able to dash in the air, essentially. And we're going to be using that to kind of get to places that they look like you could make them, but like they're just short of your regular reach. So we're gonna grab the assault vest here and we're gonna equip it. We're gonna be sacrificing 1,000 HP, and I know that sounds like a lot, but trust me, it's not as much as you think it would be. This will significantly help out our damage. So we're trading quite a bit of HP for quite a bit of damage, and that HP is not going to come into play until much later into the game, until the final dungeon. So that's why we still bought the laser mail, so we can swap that out in the end game, which I think I forgot to do that all the way up to until we got to quad turrets, but that's not a big deal as long as I had it for the end game. That's what the end, because that's truly where it's actually necessary. So here, this is another big point right here where there's not really much to talk about, so I'm kind of just filling in right here more or less, and that's not really why I'm talking too much about what's going on here. So again, great time for donations if you just want to shut me up and do some donations. Here we're just going to be doing a few. We're killing these enemies just for EXP route. So these guys are pretty fast, pretty easy to kill. So since my video I did before for my submission, there was we didn't grab assault vest because I thought it was too risky. Since I've done some more testing, it's not as risky as I thought it was. It's actually and the reason I say I thought it was really risky was because I thought it was gonna the 1k HP was going to come into play in quite a few places, but we kill enemies so quickly, barely minuscule, man. It's very minuscule. So here we're going to be grabbing the mine pass, and right here we want to teleport out. This saves about 2 seconds over just walking out casually. And so here we're going to be able to get Emily. So if anyone was curious when we were supposed to be getting Emily, that'll answer your question there. So this EXP route essentially cuts out having to do one room, an extra room in Zervitar, which saves about 20 seconds, I believe. And a lot of the extra enemies that we kill take like not even a second to kill. They're pretty much one-shots. So here going to be pushing this into thing here. There's a long jump you can do here to the right, not right there. That one's pretty easy to pull off, but so right. So here, if this puzzle is solved, we're going to make a save here. I always get caught up by the cutscene here. I usually make 2 saves just because I'm gonna be making another save anyway. So it's okay, and then we're gonna make a save here. So we're gonna be doing what's called a back in time. This was found by me that if we do this back in time here, it saves approximately 5 seconds. So essentially, what we're doing here is we're loading up one save and then doing the menu glitch to have the load up for come up, and pretty much what that does is it essentially sets it up where when we hit continue, which will be on the save before, it will load that up, but since it's already on another game, it doesn't really know what to do and it just blacks out. But if we do the save warps or the save glitch, menu glitch, then it essentially allows us to save where that one is, and we can just kind of essentially get that save there. And doing all this allows us to get the key from there, that's from the top floor, bring it down to B1, and completely skip the bottom part of B1. Yeah, so like, I know that was very confusing, that whole explanation I did there, and that's because it really kind of is. There's not a really, like, casual gamer term to kind of explain what just happened. It's very complicated and very weird. All you really need to know is it saves 5 seconds. That's all you need to know. Don't worry. So here we're going to be hitting some buttons. So we're going to be kind of doing some intentional, quote-unquote intentional stuff here. Like I said, you can very easily break this game quite a bit with the ability, with save warps and stuff like that. So, and that's going to be shown off here soon too. So here we go. That was a pretty good fight. Also, Metal Gears. This game has a lot of references. So actually, I'll talk back to that in a minute. So here, this is going to be a big save warp. So this is going to allow us to get fire pretty much immediately. So this is the mid boss for aka for the fire. So I want to come back here before he gets unstunned, so I can still get some break on him. Oh yeah, I remember this. That was very clutch. If while he's stunned, he can really mess you up there. But I got all bamboozled there. So here, yeah, I'm sorry. There's just so much going on. This game is very fast paced and it's very hard to keep up with it. So I apologize if I'm like all over the place, trying to explain everything at one time. But essentially, the best way to explain things is we're going fast. So we're killing these guys, and now we're gonna do another save warp here. And we also kind of delayed the kill on that boss. We could have very easily killed him, but we delayed the kill because we needed that experience from the bugs. There are backups for it. We just have to kill more hedgehogs when we're going to go fight the Frobit. So this is a cool way to do this, but I'm pretty sure I failed it a few times. Yeah, I did. Bear with me here. This one took a little bit. Yeah, and you're probably wondering, it's like, I mean, the thing is, yeah, I kept messing the shot up. There we go. So I got it there. So now I want to jump off, and I want to shoot this, shoot there, and then kind of angle that shot, and then there's like a corner shot you can do here. I missed it, unfortunately, so I had to jump off here, and then I tried to go for the angle shot again, I think. There we go, and I got it. So here, you gotta hit this one. It's really weird. These shots are really weird, and once you get it, works out really well. So here, you're supposed to hit this button. Fortunately, it didn't work out for me. So good thing I jumped off before. Oop. So here, what we want to do is wait for it to go fully all the way around, and then here, it doesn't lose you too much time if you mess it up. It's not too bad, at least. So here, it's supposed to be like, ooh, it tricks you, and then, oh, there's a big bunch of bugs. You know, we already kind of knew that was coming. So using the flamethrower here is what we call it. It's called burn, but it's basically a flamethrower. But doing this skips pretty much having to grab the white key and grabbing a bunch of going through a bunch of puzzles and stuff like that. And essentially, basically, we do that. We do all that just so we can skip, like I said, basically just skip doing all the puzzles and stuff like that, because we like going fast. So here, we're going to go through here, we're going to grab this, we're going to save and quit here. Yeah, so we're going to save and quit, hit continue, and then we're going to come down here and do some long jumps. There's a bit of a setup here. This jump is really awkward to pull off. It is a lot more awkward than it looks, I promise. And this one's not as bad. It's just my controller wasn't working with me or something. I'm not really sure what happened there. Sometimes the game's just finicky. So here, you can make a little jump, a long jump here. It's a not bad jump. So yeah, typically what you want to do there is, like, the minute you get in there, you want to just hit the thing. All right. So sometimes these eggs have bugs in them, so that can help us out quite a bit. So now we're going to shoot there. We do want to hit all 4, but if we get 3, that's fine. Getting all 4 helps out quite a bit. When we come down here, grab the last key we need, and we landed that. That one's a bit tricky, but it saves a few seconds if you land it, because you don't have to push the block around and stuff like that. But it's slower to try it a second time, so it's typically better just to go for it one time. If you get it, then you just roll with it. Oh, I'm not sure what happened. That one's like the easiest one, actually, and I'm not sure why I failed it. Oh, so here, this puzzle is, yeah, this puzzle is really good when you actually know how to do it correctly. So yeah, I almost forgot to finish off doing it. I think I ended up failing it because I ended up hitting one of the blocks by accident that I wasn't supposed to hit yet. Or I hit it all, I think, actually. Because the problem with here is the fact that, you know, oh, I didn't. Okay, that was something. That was another run. So the thing is about ice physics in this game is, you know, it's just like ice physics in every game. So here we want to use spicy veto type, but it's like ice physics in every game. There's something that no gamer wants and never understands why it's ever in a game. And developers try to swear up and down that it's necessary. It's not. Devs, if you're listening, if you're watching this, please don't put ice physics in your game. Just don't do it. It's not necessary. You don't need an ice level. You really don't. Anyway, off of that rant. So here, I'm just like double checking everything here, making sure. So I'm gonna grab this balance too. This balance is really good to get. So balance is to. So the thing is with the elements is the elements actually have a certain. They have a small time of. Or if you do certain consecutive attacks too much, then you'll overload, and balance reduces that. But we'll talk more about it later. This boss is very interesting. We're going to be doing, as you can see, we're doing a lot of damage to him, and that is the power of the assault vest. Like at its work, just doing its work there. And I messed up here. I was not supposed to break him yet. So unfortunately, we have really kind of messed up here, but the backup is pretty much just hope he goes for the flamethrower and that you can just do this right here. And as you can see, he's already at half health. And I get really lucky he went for this attack over going for the bombs. Because now I can just break him. And so when he comes over here, I can just do that and kill him. So I got really lucky with that fight. Because if he goes for the bombs like right after the ice punch, there's not really much you can do. Right there, we obviously want to fall off because there's no anywhere else to go, so it automatically spawns us right there and it skips this whole huge long elevator ride there. So here, we're supposed to be going back and doing like a quiz and stuff like that. But, you know, we don't get time for that. We want to go fast. So what are we going to do? We're going to basically, we're going to go do early Frabbit, what it's called. So what we're going to do is we're going to save warp into here. This save warp is about 5 seconds slower than doing the damage boost, but well, when you do that, it's a little bit it's a little bit slower too. But it's kind of not really possible to do the save warp. I mean, it's not really that plausible to do the damage boost in all dungeons due to the fact that we skipped the leaf shade, so we don't have the ability to tell our comrades to do nothing. So here we're going to be killing a few headshags here and there. We want their experience. This was not the best packed attack, but that's fine. I think I usually fight most of them. So again, this is all into accounting for our EXP routing. Though I think in this one, since I forgot to fight the mini boss, the mid boss and Fajro, which it takes like not even 2 seconds, dude. Well, it takes like 2 seconds, I think. You have to break him, so. But the minute you break him, he just dies in basically one combo. That shot is very precise without cold. You're supposed to typically have cold here, but since we don't have cold, it makes this a bit more difficult to pull off. Just only a bit though. So here we're just going to be yeah, chase off this Frobit. Oop, fell off. So there's a cool strat that that had been found recently. This isn't it here coming up. I think I got this. No. Oh, I did, but I fell off, which can happen because this game's good. You can also do that too. So we hop over and then we jump over, and then we don't worry about pressing the button because we shouldn't be coming back here at any time soon. So we're gonna hop down here and we're gonna get on this rock and we're gonna do a long jump. Okay, and I got a second try. So what you can do is you can long jump to the Frobit and just trigger him that way, and then he'll just hop on through there. We don't really need much, so we're not really too worried about that. Okay, so we're gonna killing more of these hedgehogs. Hedgehogs are extremely easy to kill. I was gonna use a spicy beetle type, but I had no use for it, so I didn't. So here, these hill kites, despite them doing fire damage, are weak to fire. So we do want to use the. So we want to use that ability right. So there's having a bit of, yeah. These guys can just troll you a lot. And if I remember correctly, this this bovine really trolled me hard in my PB, which kind of sucks. Yeah, I couldn't get out in the way in that time. Now looking back at this, I should have dodged downward, not upward. That was my own fault. I was on like quite a few attempts and just super frustrated at that point, so probably see why I didn't pay attention. But so push these down. And so here, you can just randomly fall off there. You can make that jump. That jump is 100% possible, but just sometimes it just doesn't want to work with you, like I did right there. Like just like this jump. This jump is super finicky too sometimes. Wow, I did not realize how many times I failed this. I was super frustrated with that one. That jump is not that hard. It is not that hard. It should not have been I should not have failed that jump that many times. Also, this right here shows you that all the bovines, all the enemies in general will target you like right at the beginning, no matter what. So yeah, so here you have to be super careful. Yeah, so anyone that's played this casually knows that you're supposed to like hit that switch and then do this huge like kind of puzzle kind of thing. But we're not gonna do any of that. Okay, I saved it there. This is a new strat that was found, that you can actually jump onto those with sphere storm or saw storm. So here, we kind of have to just hope that Emily doesn't get too much in our way, but she usually gets one-shotted by the she usually typically gets one-shotted by the Frobbit, so it's not too big of a deal. And that was a pretty good fight. Because Emily did kind of play nice that fight. Sometimes she will just instantly just go full ham and just get right in your way. So that is something you have to worry about. So we're gonna make 2 saves here, just like we did before. This is not because we're gonna do another back in time, but this is because we just out of safety. I typically end up saving over my save that I need. But here we're going to be abusing the fact that we can. Basically abusing the fact that we can actually fix our save, but now we're in a soft lock state. But we don't mind that. That's okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to landmark storage and go to our save now, and then save warp to here, and landmark storage here. And so now. So now we pick up the save, and then we go through all this nonsense. So you're probably like thinking, oh, this is all well and good though, but Sloa, why don't you just use another save and just pick up all the, just go to the dungeons that way and just do all the back in time thing? Well, that's a good question. See, this is another huge part where I'm just kind of make filler. That's a good question, and the reason behind that is due to the fact that we do not allow any outside saves created during, like, if the save is not created during the run, then it is not if the save is not created during the run, it is not allowed to be used. That being said, I will have kind of backup saves for the marathon just in case I mess up. So because there are times where you can just easily just end up messing up by accident. So right there, it is good to use your dash arts, because you will get a lot more distance with your dash art than you will with a regular dash. So here we're going to enter and then immediately exit, and then we're going to do a save warp past it. This is going to skip. This skips a few fights. Now here's this is the 10 jump. I always go for this at least once. If you get it, saves like 15 seconds or something, 10-15 seconds. But you do lose out a bit on EXP though, as you can see. But it is only 110 and you can make it up. So here I forgot to switch to fire. I thought I was on fire. It was after I'd done the sphere saw when I realized I didn't have enough. So here, now we do not want to use fire on the Tim here. And the reason we don't want to use it on the Tim is because if we have enough damage that we can just straight out skip his entire first phase, or skip his entire second phase, and just goes and then break him on the second phase. When he goes into the second phase, we can break him with fire, and he doesn't like do the whole thing where he's just like, and then he like digs that down, then brings the thing back up, and blah 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 blah. You see in casual play, and that pretty much skips having to do that whole part right there, that whole bit right there, and it saves a few seconds. Also, I forgot to update the quest there. I got a bit ahead of myself. So here, we are turning in the quest there. So something you kind of notice is kind of interesting, is that the EXP, the XP in this game is very interesting how it works. The XP is never a set amount, unlike other ones. So this right here, this is a very key skip here. This skip right here is going to allow us to get onto the balcony and immediately get to the cold room. Pretty much skipping the whole bottom part of. Though you don't really need anything from the bottom anyway, so it's slower. It's pretty much slower to go through the bottom anyway. So I forgot to fight the mid boss. Again, the mid boss, he costs like 30 seconds or something over time, but he gives us a whole level, so he's well worth fighting. So here, grabbing all the offensive circuits. So going over there, grab that, and then I grabbed something extra that I wasn't supposed to grab, because I'm supposed to be able to get ND strike there. That's okay. So here, there's a whole thing where you're supposed to do, like, you're supposed to break him with the ice, and then hit him with a frozen bubble, and then beat him down that way. But we have so much damage from the laser gear that we got way back at the beginning, that we, like, just don't worry about it. We just brute force it. So here I kind of line up correctly and fail it a few times because the thing there is it's a little finicky sometimes. It can act a little awkward for people. So here, they're not playing nice. That's okay though. You can manipulate them to into kind of weird, interesting ways to actually. So if you have like Indie Strike, you can actually just put like a wall of ice there and just make them all run into it and kill them pretty easily that way too. Again, another reason to have Indie Strike, but I didn't grab Indie Strike for some reason. So here, Hail Flurry is arguably the best way to kill these guys. Snowflake does help kill them too, but hopefully I'll remember. I don't remember if I remembered to switch to Snowflake for the key boss fight. So here we're going to be doing, to skip over some of the puzzle stuff that we need to do here. I kind of just, as you've seen, did all that. So what we're going to do here is we're going to jump through all this, and then we're going to come up here and hit the button, and then we're going to come back up, and this is going to allow us to skip the white key. We skipped the Thief's key back in Temple Mines. We're going to do another one here to skip this puzzle. This one can be a bit finicky sometimes too. But so that one is very key. We kind of need to do that one. If we don't do that one, then if we don't do that one, then we pretty much we will be put into a soft lock state. So we have to do that save warp. So those guys are known as Darth Moths. It's a kind of a reference to Star Wars. It's a kind of a Star Wars reference there. Yeah, it's just faster just to. So there, yeah, it's actually just faster just to melt the one back to normal state. So here's a skip that we found. You can skip that doing the other puzzle, but I'm not very good at it, so I typically try to not do it. But this still does save time, so we're gonna come through here into that room and then immediately exit, and then we're gonna do a save warp. This saves like 4 seconds, I think it is. It's like 4 seconds or something like that. So, and then we had to do this part intentionally, unfortunately, but yeah, there's a fast method of doing the puzzle in the previous room, but this it is easier to do. It's actually faster to do the save warp there by, like I said, I think it's like 3 or 4 seconds. So here we want to grab this key. We're not 100% sure if it's faster to grab this key or the key at the bottom floor. So here we're gonna do, but thing is though, it is, even if the bottom key is faster, this one, if we don't do this, loses quite a bit of EXP, so it kind of puts us in an awkward spot. Although this fight is kind of slow. Nope. So this is pretty much what we were waiting on. Waiting on this guy to show up. And we kill him, and then we get the key, and then we're going to immediately backtrack. And the reason why we're going to backtrack is due to the fact that it's actually just faster just to backtrack and then grab that other key that we left behind. Yeah, no, I realized I accidentally made a mistake. Almost forgot the key. So there. Yeah, somehow they didn't die. Apparently, they didn't get my full brunt, the full blunt of my ice twirl. That's okay. So we're almost done with Fajro here. So this was cool doing when you do it fast. Wait. Yeah, pretty much once it's on the right side, you're pretty much done. Again, we're gonna eat. It's actually, I believe it's actually faster to be a Rising Superstar. I forgot to switch. Yeah, I forgot to switch to Snowflake. Snowflake does make this fight go a slight bit faster, like I think 1 or 2 seconds or something. It's very minuscule. Seeing that, though in NMG it makes a big difference, which is where we kind of found that strat from. Which, the NMG runner, the NMG World Record holder told us about it. Some of the strats we take are slightly varied, slightly watered down versions of like NMG and stuff like that. Mainly because because the runs are so are very similar. Though of course there are significant differences due to the fact between the runs, of course. Though any percent right now, as we speak, can be lowered significantly, but it is very, very close. The All Dungeons World Record now is very close, in time between. Here, I obviously couldn't. What I was trying to do is I was trying to eat spicy beetle type in a werewolf stick, if that part was not apparent. As you can see, we can kill him very fast if he gives us good RNG. So it's very much RNG which attack he'll give us. So if he gives us that attack that you just saw, that is actually very good RNG. So here, the one thing that sucks here is the fact that I ended up getting overloaded because he kept closing his eye way too much. So the only thing I can do here is I just gotta hope he goes for the one attack I can attack him with, and he did. Thankfully, though, thankfully he did go for the one attack I can't hit him here. So right here, there is one strat here. I forgot to do it, and I tried to save it, but I couldn't. But you can just landmark storage here, and just hit the start menu and skip the cutscenes and stuff like that. But I forgot to do that, so we're gonna do the alternative strat. This only loses like I think like 2 or 3 seconds or something like that anyway. So it's not even. Doesn't even lose that much time. I think I even gold split it still.
Thank you.
I did. That was because the boss fight was so good. That was only because the boss fight was very good. So I can still gold a few seconds. So here, I grab Blazing Dragon. That is a very important thing for something later. Then we grab this. And then we grab. So. These are important, what we're doing currently. I need 3 to get that. So I got the focus there real quick. I didn't do my ice. That was a mistake. I should have done my ice. So that is a glitch that can happen. The cutscene glitch. There's like this weird cutscene glitch that can happen where like you can't hit confirm. We're not really sure what affects it, so we can't really stop it. It just kind of happens sometimes, but we know how to fix it, so that's all that matters. Yeah, if you open the menu and then hit continue, it seems to fix it. Sometimes you have to do it a few times, but it pretty much fixes it. And it's not really anything to do with any of the glitches that we're doing. It's just it'll happen, just like the Frobit can soft lock. So here, this is a very important save warp to do here, and that'll come up after the raid. So you can probably see from like if you've played this any at all casually, you probably see that my raid split goes from raid to shock. Okay. Some dust on my throat. It's fine. But it goes from raid to shock. Oh man, I had to struggle with this one. And that's for a good reason. Very, very good reason. Now there is something that we skip in the current run, but I did add as a donation incentive, which is to complete the Vermilion Dungeon, and that will come up here soon too. But we're going to be skipping that, of course, because it's not faster in any way. But fighting Apollo and doing Vermilion Dungeon will significantly change levels, which would be very nice. So here, I tried to change it before the Hellkites. Before the Hellkites went down. So this fight is Arguably, probably the hardest part. It's pretty easy in glitched categories, but it's very hard in like a lot of other categories that you don't have laser gear in. So I tend to break those guys just so as soon as the other ones are killed, I can just I can go straight into killing the blue blocks. So now I'm just kind of spinning around. No particular reason, just having fun. There's not really much to talk about here. There will be one room I would like, but I will need to kind of like need to focus on a little bit. But besides that, there's not really much else to talk about. So, good time for donations, promotions, anything like that. Alright, so this room coming up will be a room I will need a bit of focus. This room can really kill you if you're not paying attention. And as you can see, there's the reason why that is because this room has a lot of water, so it's very easy, very hazardous for us to just fall in and just lose damage, lose HP because of it. So there's just a lot that goes into it. Alright, so this room's not too bad. So as you can guess, the hook guys can't really do much to you if you stand up above, so it's pretty good to do that. Now some hedgehogs do spawn in here, so pretty good to point out. So a lot of the levels here, I wouldn't get too attached to them because they're right after this they're gonna go black. They're going bye bye. Again, another great time for donations right here. Not really much to talk about, except for that we're just doing the same thing we did on all the other rooms, just on repeat. Also, if you enjoy puns, definitely read the all the stuff that's happening in the bottom. So here, if you get a level, you'll end up hopping up like that, and then it can save like half a second or something. Not even that. Like, it's like minuscule. It's like frames. Impossible fight. Yeah, absolutely impossible. Insert every totally intentional boss fight, whatever, insert whatever jokes you want to make here. So here, we just want to, we can't actually win this fight, so we just kind of skip it by just jumping about, I think it's like 9 times. Boom. So here, this is where the fun begins, because we're going to about to really break this game now. And just in time, I just finished my food. So here, we're going to save warp into another save warp. This is save warp stacking, something I didn't talk about. This is the reason why we do save warps is because we want to keep a position of where we are in certain spots. So this is going to allow us to get to the Vermilion Dungeon, which is one of the incentives to complete this dungeon, because we completely skip over this dungeon in all dungeons because it's not an actual dungeon. It's kind of like Ganon's Tower in OOT all dungeons. It's not an actual dungeon because we don't collect the shade at the end of that dungeon, so it's pretty pointless to us. Yeah, sometimes the save warps can be very finicky, as you can see. And if that's the problem with the save warp stacking ones, is if you miss it the first time, then you have to reset the whole thing and reload it. So this is where we're going to trigger chapter 10. And the reason why we're going to trigger chapter 10 is because we need to get past the chapter 8. There's a trigger in chapter 8. No, chapter 7. Or chapter 6. Chapter 6. That we cannot get past. Because the game thinks that we still need to do the raid, even though we've completed the raid. But then there's another trigger that says, oh, well, you should probably go see Emily, because Emily's just really mad at us because we just kind of disappeared out of nowhere. Even though it wasn't, it was out of our control. But we're going to skip all that. We're going to skip go seeing her, gonna do all that crazy jazz. Instead, we're going to go all the way to the next dungeons that are required to be complete. So here we're gonna warp to that landmark, and then we're gonna do a save warp, and we're gonna do it again because we missed it the first time. Again, these save warps are a bit finicky. So here we're gonna grab save warps, and then we're gonna go to back to our chapter 6 save. Now we're gonna landmark start here, and then we're gonna make a quick save. This is just out of safety, because there's a point in the game that's going to ask if we want to fix our save, and we don't want to fix our save. In case we say yes, you know, we're gonna have a save there just in case. So here we want to kill these cats. It's again more into about the whole thing of the into about that we need them. So this is called Blazing Dragon Skip. So what we're gonna do is completely fail it because I'm a dingus. And then we're going to... I don't typically fail that. I'm pretty surprised that I did. So that was very unlucky. I guess I was holding down way too long. As you can see, it is very easy to just kind of get hung up on the corners there. They weren't... It was being very finicky right there. That you can typically just walk on the edge there, but it was not working out with me. So here you want to landmark storage there, because if you don't, then the game's going to end up locking that landmark, and you have to do a save warp, and it's slow. So here, so you're probably wondering, like, well, why did you have to do all that? Well, because the game thinks we're still in chapter 6. And so due to the fact that the game thinks we're still in chapter 6, due to the fact that the game thinks we're in chapter 6, we have no we can't actually enter into the temple, is what I was trying to say, because the game, even though we have Emily and Citron, since we're not in a chapter 8 state, we can't actually enter the dungeons. Either way, okay, so these fights are pretty straightforward. There's also other aspects of having triggering that to get Apollo and everything. One being that we are able to actually do both temples all at once instead of having to do some other stuff. So here, this will skip doing the first half of the puzzle, but we do need to do the second half here. So that was a pretty good bounce. I don't know what I was aiming there. That's fine. So here, I forgot to learn Ice Tornado. So this is why it's kind of bad. This is why it's bad not to learn, forgetting to learn Ice Tornado. It loses a few seconds. It's not the end of the world if you forget it. But anyway, so we grab the key and then we hit that there, and then we're gonna do this. Oop. I kept hitting it like a frame early before. I got kind of confused there apparently. So here we go. We're gonna hit the button there, and then almost forgot to hit that. That could have been bad. I'm gonna move that. I mean, and there, I hit it just a frame early. It's okay. And that one, I'm not sure why that one failed. I think it was because it was just like a tad too was like a tad too. That one I also am not sure why that failed. Yeah, this one works though. So at least the bottom one's pretty easy to do it correctly. Just the top one can just be a bit of a bit rude at times. Okay. So, oh, it's not aiming very well this game. This run I was not aiming very well. So we're going to come back up. We're going to enter there and immediately exit, and then we're going to be doing a triple save warp stack. So I saw it was 27. I need to get, so I did need to actually get this because if I was doing this, if I had, you can skip this if you do the grinding correctly, but I forgot, since I forgot to fight the boss. The game was not being nice with me on that one. So I lost a lot of time for that. My PB also didn't fight my previous PB didn't fight those monsters, so there's probably a goal they need to reset. So here, we're gonna be setting up for chain blitz here. We'll be getting chain blitz. I'm gonna grab that there, grab that there, and then we're one short of grabbing what I was. Something I would, grabbing the other offensive, so we grab the assault there too, and then I realized, I actually, hadn't realized that I forgot to grab that, so I grabbed that shooter there. I also need that shooter, but we'll grab that shooter a little bit later. Just doing pointless menuing. But I mean, it's menuing you have to do later, but still pointless menuing nonetheless. So this room, it's not too hard to die, but if you're not careful or not paying attention at all, you can just easily die in this room. This next coming room, not this room, of course. This is just a puzzle. Oh, missed that shot a little. And then grab spicy beetle type, and then oh, so that guy was just eating my shots left and right, so I was not able to. Yeah, again, I'm still not used to exactly using the assault vest, so I can't exactly judge my HP that well. So you can hug that magnet to make sure that the enemy gets hit by it. Again, it is very easy to die if you're not paying attention. Look how I was very close to death there. That's what I meant by that. This next boss fight, you can also, it's not hard. He's not hard by any means. But you can, again, just die randomly if you're not careful. So we want another werewolf stick here. This is just it's more for the balance than anything. So this is why we got chain blitz here. Just look how fast we just destroyed his. That is how fast. That killed it very fast. Chain blitz is very good. As you can see, it is a very powerful ability to have. So there, I switched off just so I can get a little, so I'm not on my the element as much. Here you can kill him if you're not like me and just completely just whiffed every hit. But it was a pretty good fight. Otherwise, it's not really necessarily why I'm losing time. I'm more or less losing time to just extra menuing. So we teleport out and we're instantly going to go to the next dungeon. Again, this is the whole reason why we're picking up Apollo 2, is because of that exact reason. Because there is another way to do it that doesn't require us to do that huge Blazing Dragon, but pretty sure that's slower. Just through the fact that we had to do teleport to the guild, go see the guild, watch cutscene, then teleport, then invite, then on top of the fact that we would also have to invite everybody, which loses another minute because we have to have the invitability all around. It's just really slow. It's just the best way to put it. I was trying to, as you saw, I was trying to do an ice tornado instead of ice twirl there, and I messed up. So that shot is actually weird. Here, doing a bunch of ricochet shots, and we're going to do another save warp here to go ahead and actually just skip over doing this whole puzzle part here, because it's supposed to be an introduction to a puzzle system and stuff like that that we're not even going to be doing because we're going to skip over it. I was thinking the fight started the minute I entered, and I forgot it's like right at the end for some reason. Right there, I dashed and then hit the thing, and so sometimes that'll still read as a dash art instead of a melee art. So that's what happened there. Oh, I'm not sure why that happened. Sometimes the shots in this game are very finicky, so that could happen. So here, once we've done that, then we're gonna come over here and we're gonna fight these guys and completely whiff there. We're going to have a few fights here. So that will give it, again, it still ended up working out in my favor that we got the level 33 from that fight. So now we're going to come up, and that's going to skip over doing this whole puzzle stuff that we had to do. So now we're pretty much making our way down to getting Wave, and then we're going to be, as we did with the previous dungeon, we're just going to kind of we're going to be pretty much grabbing it and then going to complete the rest of the dungeon, doing the huge puzzle room. Oop, I fell off because I thought I grabbed it. The hitbox for that is random in the fact that it can just, it'll work and then sometimes it just won't work. So right there, you can do like a long jump. Saves pushing it, so it's like maybe like 2 seconds or something. Again, not a big deal. If you miss it, you lose maybe, you like lose almost no time if you miss it. So this is pretty much what was supposed to be going on with the during wave, but unlike like we can skip all the way to the final fight in this, but the problem is the fact that it actually soft locks if we do that. So pretty much we have to actually just fight this gauntlet intentionally. So unfortunately there's not really much we can do. I thought I was an ice, which can actually just can almost pretty much wipe this group clean, and I didn't realize I was on neutral. So here we very close to just going and just finishing these guys off. You can't kill those guys if you actually get him with the other sphere. I'm gonna wait out here. We're gonna wait. We're gonna wait out there, and I got unlucky there that he ended up being the one, because it's RNG which one will go for the super little dash attack like that. Ended up being the one that we didn't attack. It's really hard to tell. I usually go for the upper right one because the upper right one typically is the one that does do the dashing. But it's still typically, I think it's pretty 50-50. But I usually see the top one do it. There we go. So now we're going to do the menuing here. We're going to be setting up basically to get the ones that we need here. Again, we're just setting up basically just for offensive stuff. That's what we're built for, and that's what we're setting up for. And then I was just double checking, make sure there was anything. Oh, I forgot to swap off of Sphere Storm. And then we just want to swap back to Radiant Swarm. That's going to be for the Chris Cadro boss. We're going to be using that for a quick kill. So that's going to be a quick jump there. That saves us some. It saves us having to hold a couple of. It pretty much saves us from have to do a couple of like room switches and stuff like that, and so it saves a few seconds, probably like 5 or something. So there's a few like cool little unintended skips you can kind of do to save a few seconds here and there. So this is very tight. This is very, very tight. You would not believe on how crazy tight it is to pull that off. So I got really unlucky. That guy went straight for that attack. Yeah, again, it's RNG, and it's very unlikely for them to instantly go for that attack. I don't see it very often, but when I do see it, it's very unlucky. So here we want a spicy Beto type, and I ended up using a Durian again. Oh no, that wasn't this fight. Never mind. Thankfully, it didn't end up mattering that I wasted like 2 Durians. So you want to do a key thrust there to disrupt his attack. And this is kind of a quick kill here. I almost didn't get it, actually. Thankfully I did, though, at the last minute. So that does say that quick heal. It's unfortunate that the jelly does not. There's no real way to actually quote unquote one shot the jelly. That's okay. So here, what we want to do is we want to kill these cats again. The reason we did it before was because of SP, and the reason we did it now is because of SP and XP. But that's not a big deal right now. Okay, so here. Here we're going to jump up, kind of do the Blazing Dragon skip again, come up here, and now we're going to actually enter Crosscode. So here we're going to do a really cool skip. This shot right here, I think I missed it a couple times, or a few times. I mean, yep, I did miss it at least once. So this jump skips having to do the bottom half of the dungeon. I think I missed it here too. Yep, just barely missing these by like a pixel. But these jumps are very. This jump is very finicky. I got it this time, I think. No, this time I swear I did. Okay, so. Okay, no, I definitely get it that guy this time. Alright, so doing these jumps are very, very, very finicky. Oh, and I ended up going in here and then lost a bunch of time for it. So it was very unfortunate. I should have just fought the fight. Because it loses more time than just actually coming over here and getting more SP for doing the Blazing Dragon skip again. Because not only is it that, but you also have to deal with the RNG of your teammates. So there's also that. So I accidentally hopped into the door there. I don't really know which one's faster, to just go do the Blazing Dragon skip again, or if fighting the fight. Pretty sure it's just faster just to do what I just did. Either way, it's still slow, very slow. So this one's much easier than the last one. The other one's a basically pixel perfect shot. So yeah, I'm not sure how that long jump didn't work out. Sometimes that long jump can be very finicky. So we got it the second time. So that again skips pretty much having to do the whole bottom half of the dungeon, and then we're gonna fight. Then we're going to fight the boss here, the mid boss here. This is Son of the East. So this is a very cool trick here. So what we pretty much do here is if we so pretty much what we want to do here is we want to use a Radiant Swarm, and then we do a Battery Assault right after to basically keep him in place. It's not really much as for the damage. It's more of, as it is more of just to keep him in place. So now this is block clipping. So if you shoot and then grab a block that is warping at the same time, you can clip. You'll be warped with it, but from the side of it, and sometimes you'll do it and you'll get slid diagonally. It looks kind of funny and it loses time. So that's how we skip the left half, and this is how we skip the right half. So there's a weird long jump we have to do here. It's very finicky, very, very annoying. It's very easy to mess up. Also losing time to. So the thing is when you're on the edges of things, if you're on the edges of a, it does not count that you're on a new ledge. The game does not count as on a new ledge, so it'll put you on whatever previous area you were before. So this is the second to last big puzzle that you have to do. Oh, I forgot. Oh, I forgot to shoot this block, and it's going to become very apparent that I forgot the block. So I have to reload this room to reset it. That loses me a little bit of time, but that's okay. So here you have to be, if you're not careful, you will, if you go too fast and try to have those barriers down, the game will punish you for going too fast, so you do have to be careful there. So this is where I realized I didn't learn Indie Strike. So I grabbed that and was like, all right, no more about anything else. I don't need anything else. And here's where I used the spicy Dio type with Durian again. So something else that's also not I didn't do here is that it is not smart to eat it before you hit the go through here. So this is the Son of the East and Whale of the East boss fight. So this boss fight is pretty easy as long as you do it correctly. So like here, he's going to hop around quite a bit here, so we're going to do the same thing we did before when we fought him as a mid boss, and then just one shot him this way. And now the Whale of the East, there is a specific way we can one shot him. I don't remember if I got it in my in this PB. I think I did, and I think that's why. That's probably why I didn't lose as much time as I should have. Oh, yeah, I got bots there. So. So, went ahead and swapped into the shock. So here, that's the quick kill. Yeah, so I did get the quick kill. That quick kill is a bit finicky. You have to do it at a very precise moment, or else it won't work. So I don't split quite yet, so but I do lose time. I do remember this. But now we're done with all the dungeons. We've completed every single one of them that have a have one at the end. So now what we're going to do is we're going to grab this we're going to store this landmark, head back over to the end of the split, and then forget the split. This is something else that was something new that was found, that we can actually just warp decoy. The game doesn't really know what to do there. Doesn't realize that we. So the thing is about warp decoy is that the game doesn't have the enemies like realize that we're in a certain position. Like, it basically literally acts like a decoy. it's just, except it works in really funny ways. Certain ones it shouldn't work on. Also here I kind of messed up the strat. I think I died here too. So it is very. I forgot to equip the laser mail, so it. I can die very easily here, if you couldn't guess. And I think I do die at one point. I think I do die in this fight. I don't remember. No, I don't die in this fight. If I did, then it was at the very end. But I do die a few times during the dungeon here. So I do swap to Frozen Start here, and I need to start getting some of my in-game circuits. So we need those shooters. We're switching to a lot of the shooters here. I try to remember to switch that shooter at the end. So we grab this last bit of the barrage. We grab. Yeah, we're pretty much grabbing. Like I said, we're just grabbing as many circuits as we can. So here's where warp decoy again comes into play. We're able to skip over a lot of the turns because of this. Because the game thinks that we're in another position, but we're actually, like, it thinks we're like where the decoy is, essentially. So here there's a really cool attack we can, really cool quick kill we can do here. This is the only one we can do it on. All the other ones, it is not possible. But that's okay, because we don't fight the rest of them until we fight quad turrets. So here, I was about to do a save warp, and then I was like, oh yeah, I can do warp decoy here. So I ended up dying here because I was way too late with my. I wasn't fast enough, and I should have done it. I should have refreshed the warp decoy. So here, we skip over the ice turret here. And then we're going to use a spicy veto type. Oh, I didn't use a spicy veto type. I think okay. Now this fight, I know I died. And I know I died in. But I died also to just do the fact that, yeah, right there. So that was death number 1. I think I died about 4 times before I got to the final boss. So here. So I get the strat this time though, because I actually hit him on the left side, not the right side. So we want to do this because he's actually weak to shock, because he's considered a wave enemy. So here what we're going to do is we're going to do a save warp back into this room. And then we're going to... And that's going to basically allow us to skip over shock altogether. We don't even have to go into the rooms at all. So now here we're going to do another save warp, past all this, and then we're going to save warp into the wave, and we're going to skip over this too. And so here we're going to eat a spicy biotype. So here, you don't want to do this. This was a mistake on my part. I should not have done this. And that will come apparent up here in a second. It wasn't until after I realized my mistake. Yeah, I was like, yep, I don't have enough. I don't remember if I killed him. No, I didn't. I think he actually killed me, actually. Yeah, he escaped roll just in time. And then killed me. So this time I don't think I learned my lesson and ended up using the key blast in the opener. I also forgot to learn Ether Snipe. Oh nope, I did. Yep, like I said, I didn't learn my lesson from last time. Don't use that. Or at least I should have used neutral. It's okay. He had wave anyway, so it didn't really matter. And he once again escape rolled. If you get too close to him, he will do what's called an escape roll. When he goes for that attack right there, as you saw him, he does the twirly. So I ended up dying here a couple times. And it will be after I died like 3 times on this boss fight. I realized I didn't have my I didn't have on. So here you can just get that off like easy peasy. Okay, so getting that quick kill and then being able to just have all these abilities all at once, it's pretty great. Here, I think I ended up, I forgot what reason I ended up dying. I'm pretty sure I died here. No, it was on the shock I died. That's right. Because I didn't... That's right. I died because I was trying to grab the bubble. I remember now. So, and I think I died again, like, relatively early into the fight, and that's when I realized I forgot. I don't remember exactly when it was. But I know I died quite a few times in this fight. It's not one of the fights I died. I think I died again on the same exact reason, actually. I got greedy. So we'll see here. Oh no, now I remember why I died. There it is. And I think was it this point? Or was it, did I die another time? No, at this point I realized I didn't have it on. So now we're actually we have a lot more health. And now we're not gonna just die to dumb things. So then now I actually do have a very good fight here. See, I mean, well, of course you're gonna have, because of course you're gonna have a good fight when you actually remember your stuff. That's probably what you're thinking, Sloa. You're probably thinking like, Sloa, you know, of course you're gonna have a good fight when you have all your stuff this time. And you'd be right. And so here, we're going to be going here. So here, I have to agree with Sergey. Gutham, you can't be serious. So this puzzle is very intense and can lose a lot of time if you choke it. Which I was super nervous, and right there I got the weird glitch that can happen if you shoot the block too early. That can happen. But it's fine. It happens. But pretty much what you have to do here is it's all of the elements combined into one gigantic puzzle. And when I say gigantic puzzle, I am not joking. This puzzle is humongous, and if you mess up one thing, you are going to lose a crap ton of time. So this puzzle is pretty intense. But I ended up using a durian, but oh yeah, no, I used the durian because I wasn't sure if I had enough spices. So here you do actually want to open with this, and the reason why that is because this fight's pretty long. There's a reason I have a final gauntlet split here. This fight is pretty long. So this is where I kind of got mixed up before. And yeah, so that shredder can be a giant jerk to you if you're not lucky. If you're unlucky. I think I died here too. Yeah, I did. So that shredder can be just a giant jerk to you if you're... So this time I just was like, alright, you know what, screw it. We're just going to eat the spicy. If I have enough, I have enough. If I don't have enough, I don't have enough. Whatever. I ended up having enough at the end anyway. If anyone was curious. And here he ended up eating the whole thing in his front of his face. So... yeah, I didn't have enough to use level 2 there. I ended up using the dash art there. So this fight is very intense, especially. I mean, it doesn't help that the fact that this is literally the final fight you do before the final boss, so that doesn't really help much either. So there's a few things that you have to fight here. You can get away with that only due to the fact that that there's a few more shredders before the ghost shows up here. And using the ether snipe one-shots the ghost there, no matter what, if you have it at least. I was being a little safe there. Alright, and that was the final gauntlet. Again, like I said, very intensive. Very intensive fight. So here, we want to do our last little bit of circuits here. We want pretty much grabbing as many bullseye as we can get, or grab that there. We're not swapping to the radiant. Though I probably should have swapped to that other balance so I could have it, because we're not going to be using that melee anymore. So I was hoping I had a little bit more for that melee, but that's okay. And we're going to swap back to that. Just trying to make sure I have literally everything. I should have swapped to that bullseye. I think I did. I think I just wanted to check everything. No, I didn't swap to that bullseye. That's. I really should have swapped to that bullseye. I should have swapped the bullseye here too. So what bullseye does is bullseye gives you it gives you more critical damage. So, and since on the fire phase we're going to be using on the fire phase we're going to be swapping to ice, and all the damage is going to be based off of ice. Having the bullseye helps with more increased critical damage. And I'll come in. I'll talk more about it when we get there. So here, this is the final boss. This is Gutham. Everything's been leading up to basically this moment. So here, we're going to be able to skip complete phases by shooting him with an ether snipe, which is exactly what we're going to be doing. You might have seen that we ate a werewolf stick. That's actually just so we can gain SP faster. We're going to be shooting him with neutral, so that way we can get more SP. If you don't have enough SP, you can just skip over the breaking him, and if you don't feel like you're going to have enough. Usually I typically do have enough, I just end up not paying attention. Like right here, I had enough. I thought I didn't have enough. And I was like, oh yeah, I would have enough. And I just goofed. I think I just barely missed killing him too, in one of them or something. Yeah, I like swap to wave because I just barely missed that shot too. So it was a good thing I did save myself there, because that, despite that that happening, I'm still gonna be able to. I have to go through this one extra phase, but I will have enough to be able to go ahead and still skip the laser phase. So here, we're gonna eat a durian because we need to heal up for 1 and 2. we need the damage too. So we ended up getting like one extra. We ended up getting like one extra turret phase, as it's called, because I missed that shot. I actually thought he was on the bottom right one, and I saw at the last minute he was not. So, but we do get one extra turret phase because of this. And I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to skip the laser phase, but I ended up just having just barely enough to. Because it's like, it's not this one, but it's the next one. And I ended up using the werewolf stick to make sure I get enough SP. So, like I said, this fight is very clutch, very, like, even watching it back, I'm like, holy crap. This fight was intense. Like, you gotta think, like, you know, PB was pretty much on the line here, because if you fail this, you have to redo this entire thing. So, you can really tell how intensive this fight can really get right at the end. Like right here, I think I almost didn't get him. But I did skip the laser phase. Okay, so now we're on to phase 2 here. Again, these are a lot of the strats that I was mainly talking about. I really wanted to kind of emphasize on showing off and really get to doing. Oh, wasn't this? I wasn't shooting into his trunk. You can quick kill. You can quick break him here and skip over doing another punch phase here, but I wasn't shooting into the thing. I thought I was, and I wasn't. So here, we're just gonna break him real quick, and then we're gonna swap to the fire, and then we're just gonna beat the heck out of him. So here, in NMG, you pretty much skip over the wave shock phase by having him swap to fire in this phase, but we can't do that in all dungeons. So what we do instead is we kill him here, or we kill this phase here and do the wave shock phase, and this will still allow us to skip over ice. So we strategically make it where he just barely isn't broken. So that way when we do hit him onto the break here, like that. I did not use a I did not eat a mustache. That's okay. The mustache is just to just help with damage. I almost missed that. Like, you did not realize how much I almost missed that. Also, I did not need to do that. You do not need to swap there and do. I was just, again, I was super nervous. I was super kind of panicky, trying to make sure I got this PB. Like I said, you know, you're right there, and like I said, if you die, you will. You know, you do have to redo everything, and just you can easily lose a PB like that. So I actually ate the durian there, not only just to heal up, but also so I can lose the what's it called, the Rising Superstar. The thing with Rising Superstar is the fact that it decreases your defense, so you actually don't want it on, because you can very easily die to a few good hits on you. Trust me, I know, because I've done it. It's happened to me a few times. So basically, what we're trying to kill the spheres so we can get down. We can match our HP with his HP multiplier with our attack multiplier. So right here, I did not skip over this phase because I did not have enough for Eternal Winter. But you can skip over this phase, but I did not have enough for Eternal Winter because I mulstashed too late, I think it was. I'm not actually 100% sure why I didn't get enough. I usually do typically get enough though, which is super weird. But that was the only reason I didn't. I think it was because I mulstashed too early, or too late, I mean. So I didn't get an. So I do heal up here. We do want to skip this phase, but it's still because if you like I said, we typically want to skip this phase because it is just much faster to do that. But it's not too big of a deal that we have to do this. Nope, fell off. Ended up having to do another phase, I think. Nope, we broke him. That's right. So we just want to kill him from this point intentionally, and then we get to this phase. So this phase is right. So this is the phase that is the scariest phase to die on. And I will tell you right now why. Because you are literally right there. You are on the second to last phase. Actually, the last phase if you get the phase skip correctly. So, and this attack is RNG. So where the circles will appear is completely RNG. It is. No, there's no actual way of telling when or where it's going to hit. Oop. So here it is basically just you basically want to play it safe. This attack is a huge barrage, and I just wanted to like be super safe, so I just kind of just ran away. Because we were right there. So I did get this. I did get the phase skip here, thankfully. So what you basically got to do here is like, you go do that plus the Spirit Blast as a kind of safety precaution, and that is time. That is where that is where the run is over. He's dead. He's defeated. We've won the game. It is very, very, very stress-inducing. Like I said, you're right there, and you make one choke, and you lose a lot of time. But like one man good said, and thus the experience is over. And that'll do it for my video. I hope you guys hope to see this accepted into RPGLB. I really think it would be something absolutely fantastic. The game is very, like I said, it's very fun, very entertaining. Kind of just on your seat, on the edge of your seat action. Like I said, even I knew what was gonna happen, and I was still like sitting there watching like just how intensive it was. But with that being said, I don't have much else to say. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope to see this in RPGLB.